Hey everyone, Jack here again for another episode for the Savage Marketer newsletter and Just the Tip. Really pleased today to have one of our OG AI consultants on the call, Mike Fanelli. Thanks for joining us today, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
So I'm really excited to hear how you first heard about the AI persona method and what made you decide to become an AI consultant initially.
Yeah, so my background is in IT, and as a project manager, like a technical solutions expert. So I've been in the IT field for, I'm dating myself now, 25 plus years. And so I could begin to see, the ChatGPT and the AI kind of lingering in the background with some of my colleagues. And then started to fool around with it and then realized, oh man, this is going to be an absolute game changer for so many companies. And so that inspired me to kind of start to implement AI consulting into my business, primarily helping visionary business leaders that really want to harness the latest and greatest tech. And I'm a tech savvy person by background, but also I'm very much a solutions person and a business related person. And so as I started to fool around with ChatGPT, I stumbled onto it. To be honest, I mean, maybe the universe bringing something in, but it was just one of those things where I somehow got into a conversation, and then Jeff messaged me. He's like, "Hey, dude, I've got this, this AI persona method," and I started to kind of look at it. And I'm like, "Whoa, I'm kind of really I'm already kind of doing this." And I was like, I need something that's structured. I wanted to really hone in on something that was really, organized by somebody. And what I really was drawn to was, like I said, I had already been fooling around with it. In fact, I had 7 personas working in one chat at once, which is pretty cool. I'm actually looking through my history at ChatGPT to see where it is, because I'm sure it's like 457 conversation in the past, right? And so, but what I really wanted to tap into was the community that came along with it. That was, to me, was the most important factor. That's really what I really wanted to, and I got so much more from it. So it's been fun.
Yeah, I feel like the strength of that community is all different people testing different things with their slightly different backgrounds, because all of us are obviously business owners. Most of us are in the digital space, but a lot of us have got stories before that where, like yourself, you worked in IT. I also have a corporate and IT project management background as well. So these kind of things all come together, and you see the guys in the group advancing with stuff, and you're like, oh, wow, that's amazing. And it makes you want to go and try something else. And that, I think, is the huge part of all these minds coming together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You said it. Absolutely.
So your client base then, so your business, tell me a little bit about your business and how that's kind of progressed with AI and how you're helping clients with that. Because like you said, you're solutions focused, but it'd be good to hear a bit more about.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. That's a great question. So as a consultant, I work primarily with high-level business leaders, innovators, change makers that they're looking for that competitive edge using tech. And because I'm tech background, and usually the clients are typically running businesses in multiple 6 figures, some even range into the 7-figure. And so a lot of them are focused on big impact and bold ideas. They're not to say that not everyone has big impact or bold ideas or need to be necessarily in that range, but a big part of it is that I help these clients create AI personas, chatbots, things like to help them with 24/7 customer support, lead gen, content generation. Not all my clients have a one size fits all approach. It's not like, oh, I'm going to sell you one particular solution. Everyone needs highly personalized AI solutions at this point, in my opinion. And so they're specifically catered to their specific needs. So, for example, I work with a client in Mexico, where I am, in the Mayan Riviera specifically, who was he was struggling to keep up with demand. He's in the real estate business. So what I did is I implemented an AI-powered system, AI personas, an AI chatbot, and basically I was able to streamline his entire operations, and it freed up a ton of his time so he could focus on like higher level strategy stuff. And he was basically doing a lot of that stuff manual or using like WhatsApp or using particular applications. And so that helped to free up a ton of time. In another case, he developed a series of AI generated VSLs and for two financial service companies, one in the US and one in Australia, that basically helped, with financial services related. One was insurance and the other was loans, which typically are very demanding and traditionally challenging industries. But with AI, and it's just everything is possible. If you're solution oriented, and I feel like I am, and you're a visionary leader that's looking for that competitive edge, AI is right now is the way to rock and roll.
Yeah, for sure. I think you've said two things there that are really resonate with me as well. Is one of them is that being an AI consultant gives you access to so much variety in your work. Like every client, they may buy one thing, but once you get under the hood, so to speak, you'll see that there's like a million other things that you can help them with. And the other part of that is that it's such a rewarding, but also an easy thing to do because you're saving these people time. And I feel like you're doing the world good because you're allowing them to spend their time doing the thing they're good at, which means that they're providing a better service to their customers, to their clients. And I mean, that can only be a better thing for the world. So yeah, that really resonates with me too.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, so you mentioned a couple of cool things that you've done with clients there, but what do you see as your biggest win, like the most ultimate amazing thing that's happened since you've been doing AI consulting?
Well, it's pretty cool because I talked about the different things that I put in there, and the chatbots and the automation workflows and the scheduling and streamlining operations and all the kind of the techie stuff. But I think the most critical and the most impactful is seeing the positive impact that it has on clients' personal life. Because just for one example, that the one kind of large implementation I put in, and that took several months, is it just freed up so much time for that person to regain their work-life balance, right, and find more freedom. And there's nothing more impactful for someone that does consulting to make not only a business impact, but also an impact in the kind of the untangible, hey, I can now go and spend more time with friends and family, and I don't have to be like returning messages from leads at 10 p.m. or responding to some kind of, because everything now with AI can be automated response, fully customizable, all the things. So, it's interesting when I think about that question, it was just like, oh yeah, I could speak about the tech, but it's that the human thing. And so that's important. And I want to touch upon that, is that when people think about AI, they think, oh, it's so dehumanizing and it will disconnect us and all the things. There are guardrails around AI. And so I do believe that if it's implemented with responsibility and it's done properly, it can actually bring people together. Because if I don't need to do that thing manually, then I'm spending time, I'm spending time with my friends. I'm spending time with my family instead. I don't have to worry. I don't worry about beeping messages because I know, hey, there's an AI automation that's going to automatically respond to a lead at 11 p.m. and it happens, right? And then it sets up an appointment for me. And next thing I know, I can go to my workday, just check my calendar and realize, hey, it did all of that for me, including setting up my appointment. And now I just have to show up to that appointment during those, work hours. So that's kind of what's come up in me during this short journey of AI. So
yeah, I really like that. And I think it's even more clear in a world where there's so much competition, business owners feel this pressure to be available as much as they possibly can. And if someone comes through at 11 p.m., like you said, you're going to be there ready to schedule that appointment, to answer that question. And a lot of the time, AI can be personalized enough to be able to have that conversation perfectly with that person, right? I recently had a problem with Hostinger, and I was trying to fix something on my website. And their chatbot now, it can read images that you send to it. It's like looking at my screenshots. It's talking me through everything. And instead of me sitting here having to go back and forth a bit, I was like, oh, well, I'm a bit busy with this. I'll wait a bit. So I could send a message 15 minutes later, and there's not someone on the other end of the line somewhere else in the world going, are you still there? Are you still there? You know, so like, and then eventually I went through to third line support. But the point is, AI allowed that conversation to happen and for me to not have to be there the whole time, you know. And I think that human aspect of giving people more time with their family and their loved ones is a huge benefit. So yeah, I like that win. So that kind of moves nicely as where we're at, because you mentioned that obviously the short time we're in AI. How do you see the future of business with AI, and how do you think things are going to develop?
Well, the future is now. We know that. I mean, we're already seeing it happening. I mean, I've been implementing AI, you know, over the last basically since the inception, and you know, businesses that are leveraging AI powered solutions, whether it's chatbot, automations, data analytics, or even just getting rid of some of the mundane tasks. Like, for example, I had a client, a lawyer office, that had thousands of PDFs that someone was manually looking through to be able to extract 3 or 4 pieces of information. And they started using it over a year ago, and they're saving 15, 20 hours a week. I mean, it's just, you know, from having that person doing it. And so it's already here, but it's just kind of at the cusp. People are not quite convinced. They're not quite sure, you know, where they can put it into their business. A lot of it is a lot of overwhelm. There's so many talk about this tool does this and this tool does that. And so there isn't a one size fits all. And that's what I think most people are struggling with. And I think over the next 12 months, I think it's going to really start to funnel down to specific consultants that are going to be focused on certain areas and be able to use those tools and say, we can use that tool, we can use this tool, and we can use that, and then place it all together. In the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to be like the computer in the 80s. And yes, I'm dating myself again. Companies that fail to adopt it, in this case, integrate AI in their operations or daily or whatever, are just going to be simply just going to be left behind, because you can't imagine a company now not using a computer, or even in 1995, not using a computer 10 years or 50 years after it's already been in the workplace. It's just ludicrous. And so, yeah, this is it. It's here and it's coming. And if you don't implement it into not to use scarcity, but you know, most businesses will see in a very short period of time, it's going to be like, wow, we should have done this a year ago.
Right. Yeah. Like companies that didn't switch to email, or people that believe that, you know, online shopping would never work sort of situation. That boss that still prints everything out before meetings, even though, you know, all of that. Although, to be fair, I've been guilty of that a few times in the past. Awesome. I really appreciate those insights, Mike. So if people want to get in touch, they want to follow you, they want to talk to you about your AI consulting and what you're up to, where's the best place for them to do that?
Yeah, so I'm in a number of places. Really depends on the easiest, obviously, is by email at info@lightsabersolutions.com or lightsabersolutions.com. I'm a Star Wars fan, so there you go. You can find me on LinkedIn with Mike Fanelli. You can find me on Instagram, although I mix, you know, personal and business at mike.fanelli.leadjedi, or shoot up a flare with a bot in the sky like Batman, and I might actually respond to that too.
I love that, Mike. Well, thank you very much for your time today. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next time we get to catch up.
Awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, Mike.
Take care.